Hi guys, Mark Russo here, and wanted to share with you something that may help your ball striking if you have changed your backswing length or have difficulty making solid contact. It's really about the element of time. I recently wrote a little piece about this on my Instagram page about what I've been seeing in some of the lessons about backswing length versus how people move their pressure. A lot of people call it weight, but pressure is probably the better term to use. But move their pressure in their golf swing. And using the body track mat, I'm able to see that very clearly. And a couple things that I'm running into that may help you. So first off, if you are somebody who has a short backswing, shorter is not necessarily a bad thing. A lot of students want to shorten their backswing. But what I have seen on a few folks is when you shorten your backswing, you have to be careful about how you move. If you shorten your backswing, but you move your pressure to the right quite a bit, you are not going to have enough time, unless you have superior body movements, to get your pressure moving back to the left before the club starts crashing into the ground and coming upward through the golf ball. So many times those folks will short backswing, they'll feel a little more movement with their belt buckle to the right, loading into the right leg, but then on the way down, the club head is here and they hit behind it. Or they scull the ball or hit it very thin all the time. So if that's something that you see, and it's great to get checked on a body track to see what's actually happening under the hood, so to speak, what I would like you to feel is you don't necessarily have to lengthen your backswing, but you can do two things. You can feel more centered with your belt buckle here and turn more rather than moving a little to the right. And that will give you a little less movement to the right, so it'll increase your chances of the timing at impact working out correctly. You can strike the ball and then the turf. Now the other option, and I have used this for some students also, is taking them and making them make a longer backswing, which makes the club head have a longer distance to travel so they can move to the left and strike the golf ball. So a longer backswing with their movement to the right side gives them time to come back to the ball. So those are two options to look at. The other one is the student who has a long backswing but does not move their pressure to the right very much. And what I've seen on at least two of my students, a longer backswing, which I don't have a problem with, but they stay very centered. Their belt buckle doesn't move, they don't load the right side, and on the way down they're very forward very early because they stayed centered, and the club head really still has to get to the golf ball, so they've got to back up to try and maintain some loft on it, and they will hit it thin or scoop it. So in that instance, we might give them the feeling of, because this is usually easier than a backswing change, moving more to the right side to give them more time to cruise back into impact. Now we can certainly try and shorten the backswing, but for a lot of folks that's hard to do, and some need the club head speed generated by the longer backswing. So we're simply going to feel like, if you feel like you've got a long backswing and you stay very centered and you sort of back up and hit a lot of drop kicks, we're going to move a little more to the right, make that trace to the right a little bit longer so you have more time to come back to impact. So a couple things to think about in how time affects your golf swing and how you need to give the club head time to get back to impact so your body doesn't have to do odd things to try and make contact and makes your timing very difficult. So first thing, get checked on a body track, see what it looks like, and take a look at a couple of those concepts and see if they can help you strike it better. Hope that helps you, and I'll see you on the lesson tee.